Morning all, how are you? I'm Lark Madden, and I'm here with Barbara Garnis to talk a little bit about our capital campaign planning efforts. We have the next slide, please. The parish board established a group of us to look at the results of the congregational and community insight process that we went through with an eye toward planning for a potential capital campaign. And we're going to talk to you a little bit about this. This group consists of Tina Bennick, Doug Latham, Vern Ellis, myself, Joanna Fernandez, Lisa Mead, Barbara, and Jim Supple. Next slide, please. Barbara's going to talk to you a little bit about what we learned.
Thanks. Good morning. I'm Barbara Garnis. Many of you I saw at the Congregational Insight workshops. It was a year ago that Rebecca Lobb and I stood here, hi Rebecca, and shared with you the data from the Congregational Insight workshops. You talked about what was your vision as we moved into the 4th century for FRS. I'm not going to go over all the data, but just want to bring you back to some of what was important or that people talked about. Parish Hall, #1, top priority for what people really wanted to renovate and to utilize differently. Social justice work, to continue what we're doing and to expand. And I think we all know with the environment that we have now that it's an important time to be vigilant, to look at how much are we involved. Programs for youth and adults. I think being good UUs, we had 700 plus ideas for programs for youth and adults. So we'll get there, some of them, I'm sure we will. Connection with the broader community. That was really, everyone wanted to reach out, open our doors. We also had a meeting with some of the key leaders in the community, the hospital, the chamber, stop and think for a minute, the schools. And I thought it was interesting, and we asked them, what would you like to see? How would you like to utilize possibly the parish hall? And the VP from Chamber said, oh, the members would love if we could have something locally to have our events. So I know there's an interest with all of us and in the community to open our parish hall. Environmental impact activities, the importance of continuing with that. People talked about, can we have solar panels? Can we have heat pumps? So we need to really be mindful of what we're doing with the parish hall. Temporary housing, people talked about, could we possibly have temporary housing for immigrants or for elders? Generate income. If we're going to do that in the parish hall, we certainly will need to bring the kitchen up to code. It's a public health, we have to do that. Next slide, Nick. We need to support meetings for ourselves, for FRS and also for the broader community, both because we want to do that and we're hearing the community would like to be part of our community. Looking at temporary housing, space for youth like we always had at the parish hall, but not just for our youth, but opening up to the youth in the broader community. Arts performance space, possibly having recitals, having concerts, having the space available to artists. I thought it was interesting not too long ago, going upstairs and the firehouse, they were utilizing our space to practice for one of their events. So that's exciting. We have a lot that we can really think about as we move forward. And that's why I'm excited here today that we're going to talk about where are we in the process of moving from this is our vision and how do we implement that vision. So I'm going to turn it over to Locke to continue.
Thanks.
Okay.
Next slide. Got one more to do.
Oh. One more?
Yep. So this is a slide that just talks a little bit about the details of the process that we're going through. The planning committee has met with 3 different architectural and engineering firms, and in recognition of our 8th principle, 2 of those firms were women-owned firms or are women-owned firms. We're still in a selection process with those architects. And what we're doing is, as you might expect, trying to make sure that we can cover the fundamental things that need to be changed or improved over there and also stay within our means. And so There's going to be a Q&A session after the service today downstairs, and we can answer a lot of questions about the details of that process. But the exciting thing is that we are beginning to create a vision which reflects the values and the energy in the congregation and also in our city, that would turn this building into not just a shiny object over there, but something that was fully supportive of the things that we believe in here and the programs and the outreach and the engagement that this church wants to try to create and sustain. So we're going to do a feasibility study this year. We have received, and Tom's going to talk about the sort of the governance process, but we've received permission from the parish board to ask you for permission to move to the next step. I think it's March 16th that there's a meeting. That process will continue to a congregational vote which would authorize the actual capital campaign. So more to follow, more detailed downstairs, and Tom's going to talk about how we're going to do it.
Thanks, Larry. Good morning. I'll be brief. I'm Tom Himmel, current chair of the governance committee. As Larry referred to, it's specifically in support of the starting the look at Parish Hall. We're going to schedule a special congregational meeting for March 16th, which is 3 Sundays from now, to be held right after the service. It'll be brief with just one article on that warrant. The board is going to be asking the congregation for their approval to engage a architectural and engineering firm to do a feasibility study, preliminary design, and cost estimates for a reworking of Parish Hall. So we hope you'll join us on the 16th of March for that. It should be a brief meeting, but it's a really important one on our path to reworking Parish Hall.